Welcome back everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video, and in this video, I'll be doing an overview of the Joker from the Infinite Frontier storyline. I'll be talking about the figure itself in terms of the articulation, sculpture, and paint, and if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button and support channel to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So, let's take a look at the front of the box. This is the side. Oops, the back, which I really like this art piece. The other side. Top, and of course bottom. Alright, now let's take a look at the figure outside the box. As always, we do come with the card. This is the front of the card looks like. The back of the card. And this comes with this really thick knife. It's a clean looking knife, not much to it. You got the little sculpture design here on the handle. And then obviously the blade itself. A little bit of design. And the paint has a very bright silver with a little bit of gloss to it, which looks really nice, but clean looking knife. And of course, a regular stand. Now let's take a look at this Joker. And if I can take off the stand, I was stuck on there. There you go. Wow, I gotta say, this head sculpture looks creepy, weird because of the eye, but very good looking. Joker because of very stylized hair. So, first off, what gets my attention is going to be the eye. If you notice here, he has one eye right there. You can see it. Very detailed, right? But then the other eye is all stitched up because in the comics, something, well, I don't want to say too much, but he gets stabbed in the eye, obviously, or he loses his eye. But looks really good. Also, that grin on his face looks very creepy. Just looking at that, looks creepy. The painted red lips, also two here on his cheek as well. The eyebrows look good. Head articulation, left to right's good. Up, down, good. And as I mentioned, the hair. That hair looks really good. You got some dark green, light green, and of course green colors on there. And it just looks very stylized hair sculpture on Joker. And I'm making a big deal of it because, again, it looks really good, man. Very stylized Joker hair. Because usually they're kind of plain looking. But compared to the other ones, which I'll show in a bit. But this one, I dig it, man. I really dig this hair sculpture. But apart from that, though, the head sculpture looks really good. That grin on his face just looks creepy, man. That looks creepy as hell. And of course, the painted lips and the white skin. So overall, though, I gotta say the head sculpture looks really good. Paint really good. Articulation really good. Starting off very well. Shoulder articulation, it's good. Bicep, good. Elbows, good. Wrist, good. Torso, pretty much non-existent, unfortunately. So the arm articulation is good. Torso, not really much going on with it. And so, I gotta say, I like this sculpture design on this actual Joker. I like the jacket, obviously has that light purple, but also has that bright green as well too. And what I like about it is just that underneath that black dress shirt. Very subtle, but it looks good. Again, very stylized here. He looks like a very, I don't, what's that movie called? Where, I can't think of it, but it's like the disco era where we have that, these hair all up in, next to your neck and so forth. Very stylized. And it looks very good, man. I really dig it. And what I like about it is the palette between that bright green and that matte black looks very good. Even from a distance, it grabs your attention. And I'll show you another one. I want right there in a bit, but on this particular figure, I think it looks really well, having that green and black look really good. The jacket itself, very typical Joker, very clean looking, not much to it, unfortunately. But again, this is how he looks like in the comic. So you can't really fault on that. His right hand has that, I don't want to say it's a trigger finger, because it's not. It's like a knife holding hand. So I don't know what you want to call it. But a little sculpture design here on the hand. But the other hand has an eyeball socket. You can see the eye right. Hopefully my camera can pick it up right there. It has eyeball socket, which is a bit creepy on there. And I actually like this, very detailed, very subtle, but it looks good and actually adds a little extra style to the look of it. But I will say though, I wish it came with another left hand, because I'm afraid this is gonna come off and fall off easily if, let's say, I drop it. So it's not a ding on the figure, just something that I wish it came with another extra hand. Just in case if I drop it, it's not going to fall off the eye though. But I like the look, and man, you got to look here, little rolls on there. Again, very subtle, on the paint, but it looks very good in this particular figure in terms of the color palette. I think McFarlane did a really good job with it. And again, that green and black shirt look really, really good. Very stylized shirt, and you can see his underneath a little bit of his upper chest. So overall, though, upper body, I gotta say, man, I really, really dig it. Very clean looking jacket, like I said. The hair sculpture looks really good. That grin, very, very creepy. The eye stitching, very, very creepy. Very stylized underneath the jacket. And you got the buttons on here too that are black. Shit looks really, really good, man. I'm digging the upper body. Leg articulation, good. Knees, it's a little stiff, but good. Ankles, oof. They're there, but it's a little stiff, good. And toes, good. Leg articulation is good as always. And then in terms of the lower body, it's a Joker figure, so usually it's going to get very plain, just his pants, and that's pretty much it. I did notice, though, the knee pads are a lighter color compared to the regular pants. So you can see the thighs. I don't know if you guys can see it. You can see it right there perfectly. Let's see. You can see it right there perfectly. See the color difference? It's not a big deal, but it's something that I noticed. The shoes don't really have much of a sculpture design. Again, just painted almost like a dark gray. Not dark gray. Yeah, like dark gray. A little bit of black on there. And that's pretty much it. Then you got that pink on here. Little right there. So, in terms of the lower body, very clean looking, very simple design, sculpted for Joker, but can't complain. So overall, though, what I would think about this figure itself, I think for $20, I think this is a good looking Joker, man. I really like this Joker. It's a very clean looking, but sorry, I'm putting him on a stand. But what I like about it is just the color palette on the upper body, that bright green with the jacket and of course a black undershirt. I think it looks very good, and like I said, the head sculpture looks really good with the nice stylized hair. I dig it. So to me, for the purchase price of $20, I think it's a really good price for it, man. It's a good looking figure. And so to me, for this particular particular figure, I give Joker a $20 thumbs up for me, man. Here we have another Joker figure. This is from the Arkham City wave. Or actually, yes, Arkham City wave, and of course, Infinite Frontier. And you can just really see the very detail on this Joker figure. But it's for this particular one, it's kind of like a dirty one, so that's why it looks kind of dirty. Even the regular one, it looks good, it's just very bright. But as I mentioned on the hair, I like this kind of hairstyle more. See if I can have it made face to face. This hairstyle, very stylized, but I like this one more. This is like a more modern hairstyle. I know it's weird me talking about hairstyles on the figure, but something that I noticed right away, though. But nonetheless, so they both look really, really good. If you were to ask me which one I prefer from these two, I'm gonna go for this one, just because I'm not a big fan of the whole like dirty look to it. Not a bad figure, don't get me wrong. I like this figure. I just don't like the whole dirty look to it, and I prefer more of a clean cut Joker look. So to me, I would go for this one more. Here we have Hush, and I just wanted to bring Hush here, how we would look like for this particular Joker next to another comic book adaptation figure, which from the Hush story, and of course it's going to be Hush, and just showing you how they look side by side and how they kind of compare in terms of the height. And Joker is slightly taller than Hush, but to me, if you would ask me which I prefer, I'm going to go for this one. Here we have Joker, the previously Walmart exclusive, but now available via the McFarlane website store figure, and this is from the Death of the Family storyline. And as I mentioned about the jacket, the black shirt, the black shirt's on here. It looks good, but there's not much to it. Very plain, right? Except with that green tie. But when you add more green and then that black and having a brighter green, it really gives it that extra look to it, extra color. It just stands out even more. So that's why I said little things like this with that black underneath shirt and that nice bright green really does pop compared to this one. Just look at these two. Which one just grabs your attention in terms of the undershirt? Come on, let's be real. This one looks good. And in terms of the hairstyle, very plain, but this one very stylized. But the key thing to this figure is going to be the head sculpture. The head sculpture is just top notch. And if you have not gotten that figure, definitely recommend getting it. And if you were to ask me which one I prefer, I'm going to go for this one, man. Because the storyline is really ridiculous, but the head sculpture on this figure, just top notch, man. So, out of these two, going for this one. Here we have Joker from the Three Joker storyline. This is I believe the mobster one. I don't remember which one it is. I always forget all three of them. But here we have them setting side by side. They both look good. This is not a bad looking Joker. It's just kind of like, It's just there. It's cool to have to pose or so forth. But to me, I'm gonna go for this one a lot more. Just because of the weirdness. The eye is really, really weird. And I just like more of the color palette on this one. Here we have Joker from The Dark Knight Returns, Build the Figure Wave, and we have, of course, Joker from The Infinite Frontier. They both look good. This one has way more upper body, muscle tone, but the pant leg's very, very plain, just straight pants. This one has more of his stylized pants, but less muscle tone on the top. But one thing about this Joker, though, is going to be that jacket. Jacket looks very, very good, and it has a little bit of a sculpture design to it, texture design to it, which I really, really like. And the head sculpture on this Joker looks fantastic. So if you were to ask me which should I prefer, it's a tough one. Because on one hand, the upper body on this one is better than this one. But the lower body in this one is better than this one. And the pants just, again, very, just straight pants. So if I had to choose one, I'm going to go, you know what, I'm going to go for the Dark Knight Returns one. Because I like the upper body, the jacket looks good, head sculpture looks amazing on this one, and that tie, I have very stylized tie. Yeah, so any drawback is going to be the pants, but I think the upper body looks really, really good, and you can play around with it a lot. Here we have Batman from the Rebirth era, and of course, Joker from the Infinite Frontier. Really good, clean-looking Batman figure. Such an underrated figure. Again, very classic-looking Batman figure. So if you're looking for something clean, classic look Batman of the comic version, definitely go for this one, and definitely made it on my list of top 2022 figure for McFarlane. But nonetheless, they're just showing you how these look side by side. In terms of the height, I would say Joker is like a slightly a bit tall, like a smudge. But just showing you how they look side by side, and of course, standing at each other and facing off one another. And of course, I couldn't make this video without bringing Harley Quinn, the classic one, which I made a video not long ago, just showing them how they look side by side. And man, I'm so glad I got this figure, the Harley Quinn one, because I feel like she works perfectly with multiple comic Jokers, just with that costume alone. I mean, having them these two side by side, look at this. This is a good combination. Even if you replace this one with, let's say, this one, it kind of works in a way. Hope it doesn't fall. It works, but it's a little creepy because of the face. But you get the point that I'm trying to make, though. But nonetheless, so just showing you how this Joker... Let me show his eye. There we go. How this Joker, Infinite Frontier, looks side by side with Harley Quinn Classic. And like I said, really cool looking Harley Quinn figure. And of course, Joker from the Infinite Frontier storyline. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this figure? Plan to purchase this figure? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on our support channel, to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of the Joker from the Infinite Frontier storyline, and on to the next one.